The following game has been rated T for teen by the ESRB for violence and language. That means anyone under the age of 13 should not be watching this video. You have been warned.
Greetings and salutations. I am Outlier and I bid you welcome to this channel. Joining me today is, of course, my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today we're returning back to Mechwarrior 5 Mercenaries. So, the premise of Mechwarrior 5 Mercenaries is that you take on the role of a mercenary battle mech pilot. And a battle mech is a large, multi-ton walking machine, armed to the teeth with missiles, autocannons, which are basically very large guns, lasers, lightning guns, rail guns. Basically, if it's able to cause death and destruction and doesn't weigh more than, say, a building, you could probably strap it to a battle mech and send it off into war. The storyline of the game is that you are a mercenary pilot, as I've said, whose father started a mercenary company on the planet of, I believe it's pronounced Deberry, but don't hold me to that. I'm horrible at pronouncing things. And then another shadowy group at some point shows up, basically torches the entire planet. Well, maybe not the entire planet, just the part where you live. And sets your mercenary company to flight, or at the very least what's left of it, because they take out your father. And apparently, you two were the only mech warriors who were part of this company. So you're off on your own, just you, your dropship, and your small support staff, and you basically have to survive, and not only that, thrive in the environment known as the Inner Sphere, which is a multi-star spanning area of space of human habitation, which, after the fall of the multinational organization known as the Star League, has been embroiled in practically near endless war ever since. So much so that technological regression has actually happened, so much to the point where technologies thought commonplace during the days of the Star League are rare to near impossible to recreate in modern day times. In fact, if you're able to find anything Star League era aged, which is probably several centuries old at this point in the game, it's usually better than the modern day stuff that they're just churning out right now. Endless War will do that. But as I said, in the backdrop of all of this, you are basically trying to survive and grow your mercenary company to not only not die in a fiery explosion, but to also track down the people who killed your father and destroyed your home, and seek your vengeance, because, well, I said, this is a universe of endless war. Vengeance is one avenue of war, apparently, I guess. I don't know. But that's the storyline. And speaking of the storyline, for those who haven't seen last episode, we managed to acquire another pilot and basically raid another mercenary organization that's trying to flee their base in exchange for, in order to acquire supplies and some stuff that our employer, I forget his first name, but his last name is Spears. I don't think he has a military rank, because I'm fairly certain he's part of a civilian organization. Leader of an organization known as interstellar expeditions, needed some stuff at this base, so he paid us to raid it, and anything that he didn't want, we got to take, and anything that he did want, we got paid for. And after completing that mission, we pick up another light battle mech, known as the Locust, and as far as memory serves, I just needed a fourth pilot to pilot it. Now, technically, I found that fourth pilot. Well, see, here's the thing. All the prior episodes, yes, all 2 of them, were played on the Xbox One console, because that's where I originally purchased the game, and that's where I played it. Due to technical stuff, not really problems or issues, but as of late, with all the videos that I've ever made, I found making videos based off of PC games to be much far easier than Xbox or PlayStation games, so I recently switched to the PC version of this game. And while I'm not starting over from the very beginning, I mean, I could, but I already have 2 episodes of the beginning. I've played through the PC version up until around the point where I believe I left the Xbox version at. So I'm going to be continuing on using the PC version from there, and while the story is largely the same from from the point where I'm currently at, the back part, there are several things changed due to just the random general nature of random number generation. Most notably, our spare pilot, our captain, I forgot what her name is, but she was a captain. She no longer technically exists in this universe, and therefore no longer in this playthrough. I mean, she does still technically exist on my file on the Xbox. That's still around, that hasn't been deleted, but we're no longer playing that file, and this is a new one. So I now have a new pilot, still the same old battle mix for now, and different missions to play. Just so that you're aware of that change, in case you're wondering what happened to the old person. Alternate parallel universe. I'm told the multiverses are like that, if you wish to have an in-game reason. But that's not really important to this playthrough. I mean, it arguably is, but not important to the direct playthrough. And all that's left to say is that this game is, of course, made by... Thank you again. And that being said, let us begin. Alright, so here we are at Brookland, this planet. It's a conflict zone right off here, and the last storyline mission was to head over to Pascagoula, I think I've been pronouncing it. Not certain if that's actually accurate, but it's there. And basically do the raid mission. Now, in this playthrough, there is another mission, a target kill contract, from House Davion, or Davion, to basically take out somebody working for House Karita. Now, I did have to go back and get an extra pilot. Oh well, there actually are pilots available for here.
Affirmative, Commander. I'll be in the hangar for pre-drop checklists.
Prepped and ready, Commander. You're ready to stop wasting my time?
No. But as I was saying, I now have 2 extra pilots, a Lieutenant Saucedo and a Lieutenant Hollingsworth, as well as Lieutenant Leon Freeman. I also have 4 battle mechs, the Centurion, Freeman's Jenner, the old Javelin, and the Locust that I picked up from the last arguably storyline mission. I did also change the paint scheme. I'm a big fan of blue, white, and red, because blue is my favorite color, and I like how blue and white go together, and I needed a third color, so red it was. Yeah, this is the paint scheme in case anybody's asking. Didn't really fiddle with the Locust. I mean, there's only so much stuff you can put on a 20-ton battle mech. In fact, if you look at the loadout, it's 2 machine guns, 2 medium lasers, and 4 heat sinks, and 1 thing of half machine gun ammo. Huh. Didn't realize that was a thing. Anyway. You know, the Javelin's the same. Now, still the standard medium lasers and heat sinks and jump jets. The Jenner, as always, I swapped out the SRM for the LRM long-range missile launcher, and swapped out the medium lasers for small lasers, so that way I could put more armor onto this thing. And the Centurion, I also changed some of the loadout on. It's still got the same lasers and same missile launcher, but I swapped out the AC-10 for an AC-5 burst fire, just simply because I like the AC-5s better, well, the burst fires, I should say, than the standard ones. And I made the autocannon smaller so that way I can fit more armor on this mech, because the game likes shooting at the playable character, which means every weapon system, laser, autocannon, round, and missile is generally probably going to be flying in my direction. And since energy shields are not a thing in this game, I'm going to need more armor just to survive, because my mech's usually the one that's coming back to the dropship on fire. And for the Brookland contracts, there are two. I can work for either House Davion, targeting the Outworlds Alliance, which is a subsidy of the Periphery realms, or House Krita, targeting House Davion. Now, in the past, in my personal playthrough, not the one that I've made videos of, I've been known to basically play every mission possible on every planet just to make funds. That's come back to bite me, as you fight people, they hate you more than working for them gains friendship. I think usually most time I fight for an employer, I gain +2 reputation, whereas working against somebody is usually -8. I mean, I just started this, and apparently House Creator's already suspicious of me, and I already have -1 negotiation point, whereas House Davion, I'm recognized, so I gain +1 negotiation point, even though I've only really worked for either myself or Interstellar Expeditions at this point. Also, with some of the new DLC packs, couldn't remember the name for some reason, there's new terrain. So the Davion mission is in a jungle swamp environment, and it is garrison duty, because apparently conflict here has created numerous casualties among our forces, which were evacuated for triage and critical care. However, enemy forces on the planet are seeking to grind salt into our wounds by taking out our aid station, ensuring the patients cannot recover to fight another day. Intercept these monsters and protect the aid station from this gross violation of the honors of war. There's also a hazardous environment, because visibility is apparently reduced. And, yeah, so we get hazard pay, so there's 25% everything else. And I do need funds, because in 75 days I have to pay out 152,393 C-bills, as the currency is known. And I only have 175,026, so... And it costs 50,000 just to travel anywhere, so I can't even leave this planet. And in 75 days, I'm going to essentially run out of funds. So I do need coin from this. And if I look at the star map, for some reason, the Outworlds Alliance, I'm guessing, is off in this direction. I mean, these are all independents. Yeah, the red line state shows that I can't even jump to Banori on account of I don't even have enough funds to do that. So I can't even get to the Outworlds Alliance. At least, I mean, I can get to Crespolus or Dormain, but then I'd definitely be out of funds. But for some reason, they decided to not only invade the Federated Suns, which is the successor state of House Davion, but they also decided to attack the sick and the injured, because apparently that's a thing in this universe's war. So I'm going to put 2 of my 4 negotiation points into salvage shares, just so that I can pick up a bunch of extra stuff off the battlefield. I wanted the damage coverage, because I always like having damage insurance, and because I need the funds, the final point, rather than going into salvage shares, will go into C-bill payouts. So I get an extra, what was that, almost 400,000 extra C-bills.
My mind the weather, Commander. It'll compromise your visibility.
Alright, so there's also going to be fog on this map. So, as usual, I'm going to be taking the Centurion because it's the heaviest, most armored mech, and as I said, the game likes throwing everything at the player. Lieutenant Freeman will be in his Jenner, Lieutenant Salcedo will be in her Javelin, and the final pilot, Lieutenant Hollingsworth, will take the Locust because it's literally the only other battle mech I have left, and I still have 10 tons worth of deployment tonnage, so I could have taken a slightly heavier mech had I have one. I don't have one, so this is basically it. But it's a full lance, so there's that. I'd also like to point out that this one's flagged as garrison duty, whereas most defensive contracts just simply say defense. So while I think I have a general understanding of what's going to happen, I don't actually know what's going to happen. So we'll find out together, I guess. Because in addition to new biomes, they have new mission types.
Looks like we found the place, Commander. We have to help the remaining Allied forces, Commander. They're on their last stand. Let's get to the forward operating base.
Alright,
Hostile
so
forces just crossed the perimeter, Commander. They're heading your way.
Mobile units in sight.
alright, I really gotta check the ranges on things. Because I just launched a bunch of long-range missiles at a helicopter that was over a kilometer away. Come on. I should point out that while this is the PC version, I'm still using a gamepad for this. And I'm about to step on things that I probably should not be stepping on. Come on. There we are. See if that clips the hill. And it does not, but it doesn't actually kill it either. Stop. Thank you. Come on. See if that does
appear
anything.
to be bringing in additional reinforcements. Brace yourselves.
Alright, so everybody seems to be coming from this side, so for now, let's just hang over here. In fact, the helicopter seems to be coming up over here.
Operating in the area. Watch out for them.
Target destroyed. Target acquired. Target destroyed.
And now we have a battle mech, so everybody get on that fire starter.
Tango engaged.
Except Freeman and Hollingsworth take out that guy.
Target destroyed. Target acquired.
As that basically just shot the base I'm trying to protect. Alright, let's not step on things. Seriously? You die now? Thank you.
Destroyed. Target acquired.
Alright, he's behind a mountain. Inside minimum range for missiles. Get back here. And again, hitting the thing I'm trying to protect. And armor's already running low in certain key areas.
Trigger finger, huh? Bit nervous? Well, get a grip and get after the enemy. They're the ones shooting at you.
Working at it.
Tank just detonated.
Yes, I know. The other guy stepped through. What's your point? I mean, his point is he's trying to keep the base alive. And meanwhile, we're just fighting in the middle of it.
Target acquired.
Oops. Sorry. Damn it.
Damage
Alright,
to
really?
facilities is minor at the moment, Commander. But we cannot allow such damage to cascade. Do what you can to draw the enemies away from here.
Yes, ma'am.
Target
You must have really kicked over the beehive here, Commander. More hostiles inbound. Taking heavy damage.
They know I can punch things.
target destroyed.
Mick just dies.
New target javelin.
Alright, we got 2 more mechs inbound.
We're on your target, Commander.
Get back here.
Enemy mech destroyed. Focus engagement on Leech target.
Cool. Everybody kill this guy.
Target destroyed.
He's dead.
Target acquired.
Took one down.
Target
You're
destroyed.
dead.
Target acquired.
What's left is the helicopter. And that's
Target
gone too.
destroyed.
Our employers will be pleased that we have held our ground and saved this facility. Good work, Commander.
Yes, we actually managed to keep over half of it alive. I have to point out that the secondary objective is keep 20 and 40% of this base active. So they'll pay us extra if we keep slightly less than half of it still intact. Always fun. Alright, and I have the option to pick up another Javelin or another Locust, both of which are, well, let's be honest, they're both ripped in half. I mean, one's the SRM variant of the Javelin, the other is, I would say a standard Locust, but I think my Locust actually has an extra medium laser. And I'm not really particularly fond of either of these two battle mechs. I mean, I'm not really a fan of just missile boats to begin with. As I've stated, I'm fairly certain in last episode, If a system's only going to have, if a battle mech's only going to have one type of weapons being able to be fielded, I much prefer that they be energy based because most energy weapons don't have ammo, whereas most missile and autocannon weapons do. In fact, all of them do. I have yet to see an autocannon that does not have an ammo need. And the Locust is just a slightly worse off Locust than I already have. So I'm going to take these two medium lasers, this LRM-10, because it's the most expensive thing. You know what? I will actually take this Locust, not to keep it or to repair it, but it's worth, well, probably almost 500,000 C-bills, so I'm just going to go and sell it. And then I'll take this jump jet. That's, other than some SRM-2s and a couple of simple heat sinks, that's everything that I can salvage. Alright, so families of the patients you saved, so our employer, I should say, says the families of the patients you saved pass along their eternal gratitude for your support, whereas the Outward Alliance says we will count this defeat as a victory. None of us truly wish to follow our orders to commit such a heinous act. But I was going to say, this is what I mean. The standing for House Davion, well, in the past has been +2, whereas the minus standing for the opponent has been -8. So I'm not certain if they change that, you know, with one of the DLC packs, or it's just this early on, and the fact that I'm still recognized by House Davion. You know, they don't take issue with the fact that I would probably be breaking their stuff next mission. But I make over 600,000 C-bills, so I should be able to, you know, leave and still be able to make next month's rent. Right now, I remember hearing Lieutenant Hollingsworth saying that he lost something. So it looks like he may have lost an arm, so I may be down a machine gun. But here are all the stats. Freeman didn't really kill anything, but he did deal 86 points of damage while only taking 8. I, of course, killed 4 aircraft, 3 vehicles, and 2 battle mechs. Lieutenant Salcedo killed 2 vehicles, and Lieutenant Hollingsworth killed 1 battle mech. It's not a competition to see who can kill the most. It's, well, whoever managed to survive. Now, the next storyline mission is to reach Mercenary rank 4, and I do that by just completing random missions, which is basically what I have been doing and what I will continue to do. So if I look at battle mechs, this battle mech is well broken. So I'm going to strip it of all of its parts and then put it back out here. So look at the loadout. It's got a small ballistic slot and just 1 medium laser slot. Whereas the 3V Locust has, or had, 2 ballistic slots and 2 laser slots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell the Locust V1. And I'll get 300,000, over 300,000 C-bills for it, because originally it had extra toys and other guns, which increased the price, but since I stripped those out by putting it into cold storage and taking it back out, it's no longer there, so its selling price is rather less. Alright, because we're in a conflict zone, the equipment and battle mechs that I can purchase are rather minimal and slim. I mean, I can still pick up chem lasers, or I mean, usually they'll have ballistic rifles here as well, but right now it's just chem lasers and standard stuff. And in addition to the Locust that I just sold off, there's also a Vulcan here for 3.9 million C-bills, which I just don't have the funds for. So I can complete another contract in this on this planet, but it's for working for House Kurita, and you know, the game really doesn't like you playing all sides against each other, so it's basically pick a side or several sides and then just work for just those. So they're targeting House Davion, and since I'm working in Davion space almost entirely, wrong button, I think it's probably best to stay on their good side, so I'm not going to take that contract to fight House Davion. And since Interstellar Expeditions is a subsidiary of the Independents, I should probably also avoid any fights that involve targeting independent forces. So, like, for instance, in Angula, the employing faction is the Independents, and they're targeting the Outworld Alliance. And since they're a periphery realm, which is the space outside the inner sphere, yes, there's no outer sphere, there just is the inner sphere and the periphery, and other places that we're not going to go into just yet because they're not technically in the game. You know, I'm not really certain if I can say it because, you know, everybody takes issue with the whole spoiler warnings and revealing storyline pieces before they get a chance to experience them directly. However, the people that I'm referring to are so integral to the old storylines that if you don't already know about the clans by now, I question mentioning them right now is spoiler territory or not. I mean, it's like jumping halfway into a book series, people talking about past events and these big reveals, and you complaining about how you didn't read the very beginning of the book series yet, but you've already started book 6. But I don't think that's important right now, and so yeah, there's that. So I don't plan on working for the Outworld Alliance or even in the periphery. I'm not even certain if I can work in the periphery because they can only find jobs in conflict zones, and I don't know if there are any conflict zones in the Outworld Alliance. I mean, there are a few, I think, on the borders of the Magistry of Canopus. Magistarchy? I can't pronounce how it's called. But basically, other side of the star map. Basically out in this area, on the border of Merrick territory and the Magistarchy, or this area. I think there's a conflict zone or two, and I know that there's a few off in this section in Capellan space. But for right now, I'm all the way over here, and I don't have the funds to travel all the way over there. I mean, I probably do. I mean, I can't get to Terra because it's out of range. I can only chart 10 jumps at a time. And that's quite a bit more. But it's not saying that I'd run out of funds, just that I don't have the money to do. It's saying that I can't travel there because it's out of the jump range, not because I would lack the funds to go there. Now, I can easily tell what missions are available in a conflict zone by the icons over the planet names. So, like, for instance, Sturgis right now has no jobs to do, whereas Greenlee and Pascaluga and Angula all have one. Barnage is different. That's not a job. That just denotes that there's a black market available, which basically sells the standard broken stuff you'll see in any conflict zone, just more of it. It's also where you can pick up Cantina jobs, but I haven't unlocked those yet, so it's kind of a moot point. And then over here in Automa, there's 3 different jobs to choose from. So I can work for either House Creator, House Davion, or the Outworlds Alliance. And it looks like that the guy's working... the contract's available to target either the Independents or House Creator. So I'm guessing House Creator isn't targeting itself, so they're probably fighting the Independents, which means either House Davion or the Outworlds Alliance will be either fighting House Creator or possibly even the Independents themselves. So that's one place that I could consider going to, but it's kind of a bit far out of the way. And let's say there's 3 things here. But here at Greenlee, there's actually 2 contracts, one for the Independents and one for House Davion, and they're fighting the Outworlds Alliance and House Creator. So the Independents and Davion are not fighting each other, they are fighting other parties. So this could also be a good spot to go to, because 2 missions means I only need to travel to 1 spot, and you know, basically you get essentially paid twice as much. However, battle mechs are damaged, so I should probably fix those sooner rather than later. And I'm guessing, if I go back to loadout, yeah, only armor is damaged on my Centurion. It'll take 6 days and an extra 7,000 because I'm working in a conflict zone. But the nearest industrial hub is 50,000 C-bills and 13 days away. So while in the short term it's generally cheaper to repair in a industrial hub as opposed to a conflict zone, it's probably going to be more expensive to repair to travel to the industrial zone, fix all the battle mechs, and then travel back. It'll certainly take longer. So I'm going to just... I mean, I like looking at the loadout just to be absolutely certain that... I mean, the General only has some armor damage, so... Yeah, like 2 days and it'll be done. Like 900 extra C-bills. I think Freeman's quarterly pay is more than that. The Javelin requires a little bit extra work, but, you know, still a small amount of days. Now, the Locust, because it lost a machine gun, yeah, I can't repair the machine gun because I don't have any spare machine guns to replace it with. I mean, this is actually broken. It's essentially not there anymore. So, while I can repair the arm, it won't have a weapons available, or they'll just leave the old broken thing there. And it'll also take 3 days and 2,000 extra C-bills. So we'll actually be still far less than the 50,000 combined, but he'll just have one weapon system less than normal, because I again don't have a machine gun to replace it, because I didn't pick up any off the battlefield. Now if I just remove it, it'll actually take 4 days and be a little bit more expensive. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to repair the armor and leave the broken gun there, because, you know, I can't replace it and it costs more just to remove it, so it's cheaper just to leave it there. So all the battle mechs will be fixed in 6 days, and it will take 20 days to get to Angula, or 20 more days to get to Greenlee. But there's 2 jobs in Greenlee, whereas there's only 1 in Angula, so let's actually go to Greenlee. And all the battle mechs are fixed now. Yes, they should be. Also, there's new news. If I go to the news, supercharged battle mechs have been, well, now invented. Also, Uranagata Kurita returns to Mallory's world in force. And the new Avalon Institute of Technology opens up. This is all just basically backstory, just the major events that occurred in the actual BattleTech game universe. So, like, for instance, Uranaga Kurita returns to Mallory's world. He's apparently, I think he's going to be fighting the Morgan Kell and the Kellhounds, a mercenary regiment. Apparently they have some beef with the, at least I believe that's the term, for having issues with the Kellhounds, so they're going to go to the Mallory's world to fight the Kellhounds. It's a big titanic battle, and basically people break emotionally and morally, well, not morally, but mentally, and they end up having to go to early retirement because the battle is that hectic. But so the actual story is New Year's Eve celebrations have been cut short in Mallory's world as a Kurita assault force appeared at the system's jump point and has begun a full burn towards the planet. In a system-wide emergency broadcast, the Duke of Mallory's world, Rodkel Miller, has announced that they believe the assault force belong to the elements of both the 36 Daryon regulars and the 2nd Swords of Light, led by Uranagata Kurita himself. Following Duke Miller's announcement, Morgan Kell of the prestigious Kellhound Mercenary Unit attempted to calm the public with his own statement. "We defeated Uranaga Kurita before, and I assure you, we'll do it again." It's only been 2 years since the previous assault on Mallory's world, but the 2nd Sword of Light attempted to destroy the 4th Davion guards. While eventually repelled, the Davion victory came at great cost, with first Prince Ian Davion killed at the hands of Uranaga Kurita's Warhammer. So basically, the old leader of the Federated Sons died in this battle 2 years ago, and his brother, First Prince Hans Davion, has taken his place. But these news pieces, as I said, share various backstory of the universe. They also explain when new mechs and new technologies appear. So, like, for instance, January 30, 16, supercharged battle mechs make their way onto the battlefield. So, I mean, I'm not going to read this because I don't want to, but basically it means that battle mechs carrying superchargers and superchargers themselves will now be available for sale, and you can find them on the battlefield and break them. Morally as well as technologically. But that's not going to be an issue for right now. For right now, we need to basically complete 2 different jobs. One of them is for the Independents, called Supplies in Demand, and intelligence. And the liaison officer says Intelligence has reported that irreplaceable mech parts for the war effort are being warehoused and are vulnerable to a bold strike. Go in and destroy the supplies in those warehouses. And the intelligence reports that the first objective is at least 2.2 kilometers from the drop zone. So it's an objective raid. I'm basically going to be running around and shooting things. And then party crashers for House Davion. The House Davion representative says the House Karita garrison on Greenleaf 5 has just finished constructing new headquarters. In fact, they're having a bit of celebration to open it tomorrow. Consider this your invitation. They basically want me to go in and destroy it. And the furthest objective is 1.7 kilometers from the drop zone, and there's going to be active artillery. I don't like artillery. Let me phrase that. I don't like being shot by artillery. Alright, so I should probably put more money into the C-bill payout because I still only have 1 million. And mechs are expensive to maintain and replace, so I'll put 1 negotiation point in the C-bill payout, 2 in salvage shares because I like picking stuff up off the battlefield, and battle mechs you pick up off the battlefield are expensive salvage share wise, and I'll get a damage coverage of 400,000. Now the tonnage limit is 160 tons, and my entire lance weighs, I think, 135? Yeah, 135 metric tons for these 4 battle mechs, and I could go heavier, but I don't have the mechs to do so, so let's just proceed with what we have.
Our client has gained reliable intel on a series of warehouses they want neutralized. We are to proceed to each location marked on the map, verify the buildings, and destroy the marked objectives. Be aware of elevated levels of hostile activity in the area, Commander, so don't stick around any longer than you have to.
Alright, so there seems to be 3 different objectives that we have to basically walk into and destroy. And it looks like it's snowing, but this isn't an Arctic environment, so I don't quite know what's going on.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
And that was a missile turret. So we've been made. I forget what biome they said this is going to be. But you know what? It looks mountainous with trees. And end of day, that's really all I need to know.
I'm detecting unidentified mechs in the area. Moving in to investigate.
Alright, so this is going to be one of those long sloggy missions. I mean, every objective should have their own defensive force, and albeit small force, admittedly,
Target destroyed.
but a force nonetheless. You know what? I'm just going to step on this building.
I got it.
Good work, Commander. That's one less target.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
Enemy destroyed.
Target acquired.
And now the tanks are away.
Target destroyed.
And that's it for this objective, so now we gotta head to this one.
Target acquired.
Got another one.
Destroyed. Target acquired. Target destroyed.
And I really gotta pay attention to the ranges of things. I'm fairly certain I fired off that autocannon blast, and that tank was too far away. Alright, I'm just gonna step on this building because I don't feel like wasting ammo.
Target acquired.
Objective down.
And I've stepped on enough of the building that it's labeled as destroyed. In fact, I'm just going to step on more of it. Alright, so there's one more objective left, and I haven't actually come across an enemy battle mech yet, which I find both interesting and worrisome, but then I have to remember this is still technically the starting area, so they don't really expect you to have all that much stuff, so they don't really throw all that much stuff against you. Now, if I were operating in, say, Steiner territory, look, this looks like a big engine. Let's shoot at it. Which, for the main storyline campaign, is one of the harder areas to operate in. I'd probably be fighting nothing but assault class battle mechs, which are some of the heaviest battle mechs in the game.
Target acquired.
Took one down.
Target destroyed.
If you find the acquisition, just walk up to it in order to pick it up.
Wait, salvage? Where's salvage? Great, now I want to know where the salvage is. Oh, there it is. I like how it's like an instant hologram, you can see through everything.
That's close enough.
I mean, not
Ready
on
to
the
start
plane.
pickup operation.
Right, as I step on
Excellent
they want me to
fight,
pick up.
Commander. Beginning recovery now.
But it's actually just simply extra stuff that you can pick up and loot, and now there's a light battle mech on the field. Oh, an urban mech. Goody. Let's go shoot this thing. Now, where was he when we walked through the place? But no, I shouldn't complain. The urban mech is armed with an AC-10, which is one of the larger autocannons. Yeah.
Enemy mech nullified.
I always try to aim for the autocannon. Just simply because, you know, it's the primary weapons platform of the urban mech. And while the urban mech is slow and looks like a ball with legs, you know, it has one of the heaviest autocannons in the game, especially the variant that can mount an AC-20, which is also a weapon slot large enough to fit a railgun, or a Gauss rifle as they're called in-game. And I stopped when I tried to target that tank. Wrong button. Move away.
Yeah.
Destroyed. Target acquired.
Alright, that's the terrain I can't walk over.
Walk on up to the treasure to pick it up.
Ooh, more stuff I can steal. I mean, salvage. Legal salvage. I mean, let's be honest, it's not legally salvaged. I am stealing this crap.
Brilliant. Payload acquired.
Alright, so where's this tank? There's the stand. As a laser H3.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
And then we just step through these buildings. I don't even know if this is the warehouses that they actually want me to destroy. I'm just walking clean through them.
Target neutralized. That's the last of the targets, Commander. Now get back here before hostiles converge on your position.
Which they most likely will do in force. So let's head to the drop point. Oh look, there's already a medium class battle mech on the field. Didn't get to see what it looked like much, but I think it's a cicada. Yes, it is. And it's the PPC variant of the cicada, so he's going to be a problem. And Hollingsworth blew something up.
Confirmed, Commander. Moving on target.
Alright, everybody take out the cicada. Because he's armed with a lightning gun. Well, I don't have much need of the cicada because it's a medium-sized mech, but only carries 3 guns. I've always wanted one that has the PPC. I can never find the one that has the PPC. And I probably won't get that one because it's about to go nuclear.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
And there's the dropship.
Tango down.
Target destroyed.
Bus is here, let's
Window
go.
for extraction is closing. Let's get out of here.
Alright, we've reached Reputation 4. We are now established. The reputation across the industry has grown. Potential employers are inquiring about your services. New employment opportunities have become available on the star map. And through that through all the salvage I picked up a PPC and a small laser. Also 672,000 Seabills and 100 reputation. Right, no new battle mechs, although I can pick up this PPC if I so wish. I shall take these medium lasers, this PPC, and these autocannons because they're the most expensive thing on the list, but there are 2 salvage shares apiece, and I have an odd number of salvage shares, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pick up this machine gun because, well, I'm down a machine gun, let's be honest. In fact, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take 3 machine guns. I will explain later. Right, and damage payout's only 96,000. Our employer says nothing like fighting non-functional battle mechs. We look forward to that now, thanks to you. And the Outward Alliance says those are priceless. We demand retribution because they have yet to. Well, it's still early in the the game, which means battle mechs are still technically hard to come by, especially in a peripheral realm which just does not have the infrastructure to support it. Apparently, I now get paid in Seabills for the battlefield loot. I thought I just got the loot now. Oh well. Anyway. And no one has anything that's incredibly broken. Breakdown right here. And let's just continue. Right, 8 days have elapsed. Now I have transmissions to view. So Colonel Richard Markson It says, great work, kid. I've been monitoring your progress with the MRB, and I think you've done enough to prove to the naysayers that the heir to Nick Mason's mantle has got what it takes. So here's the deal. Comstar does good work overseeing the MRB and their license contracts. Ensures that us mercs still get paid what we signed up for, even if a client is unhappy. It keeps mercs from bailing on their clients without severe penalties, since no one wants to feel the wrath of Comstar, because they control all the communications in and out of everywhere. But the fees that Comstar charges for the MRB service are just downright criminal. It ends up pricing out many folks who could use their talents from hiring us out for smaller jobs where we can be of service. Thing is, there's no "the," but thing is, there is nothing out there that says mercs can't take non-licensed jobs from anyone. In fact, smaller outfits like our own often take on these smaller contracts on the side to help us float by. If you can take on some more small-scale work, you need to touch base with a fixer. They scout clients and then look to hook them up with mercs they feel are able to get them what they need. Typically by setting up a meeting in a regional cantina. If they hear that you are operating in their area of space, they will reach out and make the location known to you on the star map. We already put the word out about you kids, so Rihanna might already be seeing some leads contacting her for a meet. Get them what they need, and they'll have sometimes even provide you with some upgrade blueprints that your techs can use to further augment your mechs. If you work hard and build up a rep for certain types of jobs, you even find more opportunities for lucrative assignments. Hell, you might even be offered up some rare tech if a fixer needs something done badly enough. Rest is up to you, kid. Give them help. Fixers are now offering jobs in cantinas. So that basically explains what the cantinas are and the storyline as to why they're a thing. So I still need to increase reputation for the main campaign. In fact, I think the main campaign, it needs to be actually 5. So we need to expand our operational capacity and build a reputation throughout the Innisphere if we want to receive more lucrative offers. In the meantime, Spears and I will continue to investigate into Black Inferno. Black Inferno being the organization that basically attacked DeBerry and killed our father. So I need to get one more rank up in order to proceed with the main storyline. But all the mechs are broken, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to repair the battle mechs. Now, the reason why I wanted the machine guns is because, as I said, last mission, machine gun broke on the Locust, so now I have a spare machine gun to replace it with. Thing is, the machine gun that I'm replacing with and the machine gun that's currently there are 2 different tiers, which means they have 2 different damage profiles, 2 different reload times, 2 different rates of fire, 2 different ranges. So, when I have weapons paired like that, what I generally like doing is making certain that they're all the same tier. So that's why I wanted 3 tier 0 machine guns, because I only have 1 tier 1, so now the machine guns are paired. They don't do as much damage, but at least now I don't have to worry about... I don't have to worry about one machine gun firing more often than the other. It's not the battle mech that I'm piloting. But, I like it better from, I just like that it is. So anyway, that'll take 7 days. And since all the battle mechs, or at least one battle mech, is getting repaired, I can't actually take on another job until they get fixed. So even though 14 days, I should say, will pass after I complete this job, because it's going to take a week to fix the mechs, I can't actually proceed on. I can take the job, but I'll just basically sit there for a week while the mechs get fixed. So a week has passed, and let's see if the job is still there. And the job is still there. Okay, good. And what was that about? It's still just the news about the supercharger. Wrong button. Alright, so as normal, max out salvage shares as much as I can, as well as have 1 for damage coverage. Now, I have 2 spare negotiation points left, so while I can actually put 1 in for an airstrike and actually get airstrike support for this mission, it is an objective raid, so I can basically use the air support to blow up something. Or, since I still technically need funds, I always need funds, I can put both remaining points into C-bill payouts, because I very rarely actually use the airstrikes, and just get more off the job, and that's what I'm going to do. Alright, and all my mechs are fixed, so let's go.
A number of command and control centers have been spotted on aerial surveillance. Our mission is to identify and destroy these facilities. Be aware, these facilities are heavily guarded, so don't stick around any longer than you need to get the job done. We'll be standing by.
I would like to point out that the objectives are actually in two opposite directions, so the closer I get to one, the farther I get from the other. And I think that they actually said that artillery is going to be active on this mission, so I'm going to need to stay moving. At least until I can take out the artillery. But still a relatively easy job. Should be no problem for a lance of light and medium mechs. Or I should say light mechs and one medium mech, because I'm the only one in a medium mech.
Battle mech spotted.
Enemy destroyed.
Coordinating our attack.
Alright, everybody kill the urban mech. Right, AC-10's gone, so he's now significantly less of a threat.
Enemy mech destroyed.
Target acquired.
Target neutralized.
Target destroyed.
We're about to step on that turret anyway, so... Alright, so when they talk about artillery, they refer to this thing. So I don't know if this is the artillery piece in question, but I'm just going to shoot it just in case.
Wrecked.
In fact, I'm just going to step through it. Alright, somebody walk through something good. I quite literally walk through the building in question. Since I'm not in a heavier assault mech, I can't walk through walls. So I just bounced off of that one. So now that this objective is done, now I have to hike all the way across to the other side of the map to take out the other one. Assuming somebody doesn't try to just jump jet over a very large build. Why are you lasering that? Oh, that's why. There's a VTOL in the way. Where's a VTOL?
Destroyed. Target destroyed.
And there's another light battle mech over here. This one being a Panther.
This never gets old.
As I just basically ripped its hands clean off, but at the cost of losing all the armor on my autocannon arm. So I do need to be more careful over the right side, because that's where the autocannon is. And AC-5 burst fires are not easy to replace. I mean, I'm fairly certain I do have a couple spares. I think. I'm going to assume that that turret's dead and just walk away from where it was.
Target acquired. Target destroyed. Target acquired. Target destroyed.
Tango down.
Target
There's another
acquired.
vehicle behind us.
Target
Was a vehicle
destroyed.
behind us. Right, and based off of the map, I should probably actually head this way because, I mean, I basically could go down the ridge and then across, or we can go across and then down the ridge. And by ridge, I mean this mountainy thing right here. And I'm hoping I don't have to hike back to the center of the map. Just for extraction, because I'm fairly certain that if I hit the same stuff that was at the first location at the second, I won't be walking back with an autocannon. And when you have to hike a long way to extract, there's usually more enemies that show up. And I prefer not to fight an entire company of battlements. Just throwing some punches because I can never remember what the melee button is. And then we do a long hike down the ridge, which is actually a cliff face. So if there were enemies up here, they could have used the terrain as cover and shooting down upon us. Because that's the thing.
Target acquired.
And that's a turret.
Target destroyed. Target destroyed.
Alright, let's just go in there, step on the building, and leave.
Threat eliminated.
Just step on people's cars. Look, here we are.
Target down. All target buildings have been destroyed, Commander. Good job. Getting you an evac now. Head to the marked location.
Which is actually not in the middle of the map, but there is this artillery we now have to contend with, so I'm just going to go over there and step on them because I really don't like artillery.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
Once you've found a targeted asset, move up to it, and we'll begin the recovery procedure.
If I don't step on the artillery, yeah, that actually hit the arm. That took out the arm. So now I'm down my autocannon. The best, it's usually the other arm that gets taken out. And now there's still 2 other artillery pieces on the other side of the map. I'm sorry, 4 actually.
Took one down.
It's a lot of artillery. I mean, usually in missions where they have artillery, which in the past were just beachhead missions, there was a secondary objective for taking out all the artillery, but that doesn't seem to be the case this time. So what I probably should have done was just run. But I didn't feel like it, and it cost me my auto. Apparently, there's still one artillery piece behind us that I did not step on, but I am not going to turn around and go back for it. Just keep pressing forward. Just keep pressing forward. Alright, bus is here. Stop. And now we proceed.
Stand by for pickup.
Well, mostly. I'm minus the autocannon. Alright, so I think they did say that they were salvaged, but I completely forgot about it. So we didn't pick it up. There is this Panther here that I can get for 12 salvage shares, but I only have 9, so I'm going to take this AC-5, this AC-5, these medium lasers, and this jump jet. And then these machine guns, because these are also tier 1 machine guns, which means that I could probably use them to replace the tier 0 machine guns on the Locust, which I swapped out last time. And damage taken was 205,000 C-bills and change. Because, again, lost arm and autocannon. But the diving forces says that was some party. We heard the noise from here. Well done. And then Karita says, brand new facility in ruins. And objective total base payout is almost 1 million C-bills. So if we continue, everybody has some damage, but, you know, I took the lion's share because, again, playable character. Everybody shoots at the guy, everybody shoots at the fleshy person behind the controls. Alright, and now there are no new contracts here, and while I can repair all the battle mechs, the Locust didn't even take any damage. And while I can repair all the mechs over here, right now and around here, we even have a spare, I do have 1 spare AC-5 burst fire left. Okay. Because there's no more contracts, so now there's no point in staying at on this planet. What I can do is travel to a new planet, or I can actually travel to this industrial hub. In fact, let's actually go to Brodus, because no. So that's still a thing. So I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to Brodus, because you know what? Let's actually go, because it's on its way to Ottoman, technically, sort of, kind of ish. And there's 3 jobs there, of which I could probably do 2 of them. Let's actually go to here, because it's a different industrial zone, and it has a cantina. Alright, let's actually repair the Jenner and the Locust first. And let's swap out the machine guns on the Locust again, and because now I have more higher quality machine guns, I put the old one back, and now they'd be the same. And the Javelin, I called that the Locust. If I look at the equipment roster, there is one AC-5 Tier 1 burst fire. I'm going to purchase that. Flamers, some PPCs, but I don't have any battle mech that can mount a PPC right now. Just more ammo and other extra minor equipment. And for battle mechs, there is an assassin, a cicada that can't mount a PPC, not that I could afford it anyway, another locust, and a panther. Go to barracks, there is
I will be waiting in the ready room, Commander.
actually several people to choose from. I was going to say, it's like, oh wow, there's somebody by the name of Lieutenant Freeman here. He's the exact same guy as the one currently working for us. But no, these are our pilots. These are the ones for hire. Go to operation. No, if I go here, cantina. So this is the cantina. So there's a couple available jobs available, including various collector mechs and then treasure hunter. So there's different types of jobs you can choose from for the various cantinas. Mech collectors is basically salvage a specific battle mech. So basically you fight one, you salvage it, or you just buy one outright and turn it in. Or whereas treasure hunter is to find a particular specific type of salvage, not normal salvage like a weapon part or battle mech component or ammo, but it's a special unique thing that sometimes randomly generates on certain maps. So like for instance, this one needs to go. I need to go to Mercenary Row and collect one water purification unit. And by completing this job, I'll get 400,000 C-bills, 75 reputation, 1 medium laser, 5 single heat sinks, 5 pirate reputation, and 10 career reputation, which increases the treasure hunter tech tree, which if I go to operations, these are the tech trees, and the more I increase a specific ranking in a specific type of job, the more upgrades that I can get. So there's that. So I'm going to take this job just simply because I don't have to salvage a battle mech, and you know I can take also these jobs, and eventually I'll come across an assassin mech or a centurion that I could probably use, well, that I could probably get. So let's actually just take these just because they're here. I mean, I could technically complete the centurion one right now. I could just give them the one that I actually have, but if I go to home, it actually does say, you know, collect 1 Centurion battle mech. I have a Centurion. I can actually give them mine. But then I would be 1 battle mech down, 1 battle mech short, which means I'd only be able to field 3, and it would be an option between the Jenner, the Javelin, and the Locust, and I just do not want to do that. Besides, it's my battle mech. It's mine. I mentioned it's my battle mech. So now that I have an extra AC-5, I'm just going to put that on there, and you know, start repair the work. So there's that. So if we go back to the star map, so Mercenary Row is a specific conflict zone, specifically this conflict zone, the one that I'm at. If I go to Ottima, because I no longer need to be at Hickok anymore, everybody gets refitted. And there's extra contracts, so... Oh look, there's a new news thing. So, Disgraced Commander exiled by Coordinator. Actually several. The Korean, in February 3016, Korean forces begin withdrawal from Mallory's world. Yurin Agata Kurita has called for the withdrawal of all DCMS forces as the 4th battle for Mallory's world comes to a close in what can only be described as an unbelievable turn of events. With Uranaga Kurita moving to box in the Kellhound's 2nd Battalion, Kellhound's commander Morgan Kell and his archer Tempest moved up from behind the Kellhound's fortifications and Uranaga Kurita to single combat. The Kuritan samurai could not resist and accepted his challenge. What happened next is a mystery. Both the AFFS and the Kellhounds have refused to provide the media any official statement on what transpired. AFFS is the Armed Forces of the Federated Sons, or basically House Davian military. Unconfirmed eyewitness statements describe that Kellhound's Tempest was brought to its knees, was on the verge of defeat when the Arch mysteriously disappeared from all computer readings. Some claiming Kurita's shots passed right through the Tempest, as if the mech was nothing more than a phantom on the battlefield. Since the battle, Morgan Kells refused to comment publicly on its outcome. Both he and the Tempest have withdrawn from the public eye, leaving his brother Patrick Kell in command of the famed mercenary unit. He basically retires. And then disgraced commander exiled by the coordinator. Following his defeat on Mallory's world, Uranaga Kurita traveled directly to Lutheran, the capital of the Drakas Combine, Lutheran's Unity Palace, to present himself to the coordinator and explain his failure. Today, following a private meeting held between the two men, the coordinator declared in a public statement that henceforth Uranaga Kurita would be stripped of all ranks and titles and declared persona non grata. Furthermore, he is to be exiled to a monastery on the remote Echo 5 system to spend the rest of his days reflecting on his failure to the dragon. The DCMS has yet to comment on who will take Uranaga's place at the head of the Second Swords of Light, but given that the second remains one of the dragon's premier combat units, it's hard to believe that its top position will remain vacant for long. Just more bits of story. So anyway, nope, wrong button. I am not handing in my Centurion. So, this is what I mean. And I was kind of hoping it wouldn't be working for the Kuritans, but of the three jobs, the Davians fighting House Kurita, the Outer Worlds Alliance fighting House Kurita, and then House Kurita fighting the Independents, if I take the job for the Kuritans and target the Independents, then the water purification units will show up somewhere on the map. But it would target the Independents, and I really don't want to tick off the Independents, even though... Now, I am somewhat friendly towards them, so I'm fairly certain I could take the reputation hit. It's just I don't want to be making a habit of it, because the main storyline generally involves working for interstellar expeditions, and they are a subsidiary of the Independents, which means while they don't technically work for the independent forces, their reputation is based off of my reputation for the Independents. So if I'm outwardly hostile to the Independents, I'll be outwardly hostile to interstellar expeditions as well. And they're not going to be the only subsidiary factions. I mean, the Outworlds Alliance is actually a subsidiary of the Periphery Realms. There's going to be other subsidiary factions that I find, like, for instance, the Bandits are a subsidiary faction of the Outlaws. But this is what I mean. Since I'm less than neutral to the Outlaws, I'm less than neutral to the Bandits as well. And so the negotiation points reflect that. And then I can also do an objective raid for the Davions, or garrison duty for the Outworlds Alliance, fighting House Kurita. So I have three options to choose from. 4 mechs to fight 3 missions with, and all that fun stuff. And while I could select all of any or all of these jobs and just play through them just to see what they are and how they work and operate and all that fun stuff, I feel it's best to save all of that for next time. And as such, I'm going to call it here. Everybody stay safe from the plague, and have a good day.